It's chilly. Tomorrow's my day off. That's why I'm up a little late. I'm up a little late. It's chilly. I finally watched the rest of the Progressive Caucus meeting, and I do have some thoughts. I do have some. I watched it on my way home from work today. Put this on kickstand so I don't have to hold it the whole time. I watched it on my way home from work today, and then I still had like another 30 minutes, so I watched it here. Isaac Lieberman, you had some good points, and you were very delicate in expressing your points. You had some good points, very delicate in expressing your points. Amr was cut off again. Amr cut off Ajamu again. He cut him off twice at the last meeting I attended. And he cut him off again tonight. Not tonight. Tonight I watched it, right? It actually happened on Monday. Ajamu, are you not seeing when they're doing this to you? Cut him off again. Jamu and I don't agree on absolutely everything, but we do respect each other and we have conversations. So it's interesting, a lot of my initial thoughts on this particular meeting actually got discussed later in the meeting. I'm watching this, giving my initial feedback, saying name names, and then everybody saying name names. So apparently a lot of people were on the same page as me. And my point about the fact that that Amr should have been keeping a whip board, that he should have known where we stood, that came up too. Somebody else in the who asked a question or gave a statement stated the exact same thing. You should have known. And Amr's like, oh no, we don't do that. You have a lot of excuses for lazy. You have a lot of excuses for this lazy behavior. Isaac Lieberman pointed out that the slate that ran against them, the slate that was running an earnest and honest campaign for leadership of the Progressive Caucus, that they ran on a platform of being an organizing body and of being an educational body. Right, Isaac? What is their purpose? What the fuck is their purpose at this point? What are they doing? What are they doing? They're like, oh no, we don't do that. But then they're like, oh, we've been organizing around this idea that we're going to pull all the endorsements. Really? Why is it that the first time we ever heard about it was within the last month or so? You've been organizing so hard around this? You should have been informing the caucus members for a year that this would be the strategy. So I don't buy that for a fucking second. I don't buy that for a second. Wow. They had so many excuses for their laziness. Wow. And a lot of their allies jumping in, giving their crocodile tears and shit. And Ajamu was straight up. He's like, why did you think this was going to fucking happen? Why did you think this was going to happen? We did not, for years now. Oh, and Karen boasted that she's had 3 terms. Where are we? How many politicians have we elected? Where are our politicians? Where are the ones that would have voted for this AB 1400, the single payer? Where are they, Karen? You were chair for 3 years, or for 3 terms, and Amr has been for the last 2 terms, right? So y'all are, you hold the R. You hold the R. The responsibility, you hold the R. Where are all of these politicians that you were trying to get in that were going to help us get this done? Where are they? So, they still have a lot of sycophants. And they they happily smile at the people that they don't want to include and act like, oh, Jamu, you're long-winded. Although I'll be real, Shamu, you and I have talked about this. You do kind of go on, but the point being is he's cut you off 4 times now in the last like month and a half. Amr, fuck's sake, dude. That was a real criticism. You should have had a whipboard. You should have been keeping track of this. What the hell are your vice chairs? What do they do? Jamu made another great point that where are you all outside of like the main incestuous progressive bodies of like our revolution? He didn't call out DSA, but from what I understand, DSA has a lot of the same incestuousness with its leadership too. If you guys are controlling everything, how are you hearing new voices? If you're like, well, we're only going to have one effective Our Revolution chapter in Orange County and we can't let anybody else organize, how are you going to get new voices? How are you going to get new voices? That's really interesting. Wow. You got so much incestuousness with these organizations and your Democratic clubs that you started up, and your DSA and the Sunrise Movement at this point too. I mean, why would you want to sit on so many boards? Why would you want to have like control over so many organizations if you weren't just like totally going for fascism at this point? Do you not know how to collaborate with other people? Is that where we are? Okay, so I did watch the rest of it after Ash Kalra had to finally jump off the call. He was very generous with his time, by the way, knowing that he was going to go in front of the firing squad. But on top of it, it was so unbelievable. Like, his performance was like he wanted to tuck his tail and make everybody sad for him that he wasn't able to get it done. And your performance was like, we are so outraged even though we expected this outcome. Such a crazy meeting. That was such a crazy meeting. And yeah, why the hell do we have like Silicon Valley trying to lead the fight in this? Like, we can trust anybody from Silicon Valley, the absolute headquarters in America for the wealth divide. Oh yeah, I'm sure that they're so serious. They're so serious about getting us Medicare for all. Wow. Okay. So we're not going to be able to get shit done so long as people like Karen and Norman and the slates that they run are proclaiming themselves to be the progressives of California. This is some hot bullshit right here. Brandon Arami, for fuck's sake. Ash called me. Ash called me. I mean, you guys really need to take a step back and look at how much you displayed that you were in bed with these politicians. You really do need to take a step back and be like, oh yeah, I have such a great relationship with Ash. I know he totally tanked our bill, but he called me. I don't like what they're saying about Manuel Zapata in the chat. What were they saying about? I would love to see the chat at this point. I'm a little disappointed. I kind of missed the actual live call at this point because I want to see what y'all were writing in the chat. But I'm kind of glad you imploded without me there, because now you can't blame me for it. I wasn't there. I was working. I'm getting measures on the ballot. I'm doing actual activism, y'all. I'm not doing performative bullshit like you all. I was legit doing actual activism while you guys are doing your fucking performative. Oh, we're so outraged. But don't blame Ash. Ash is fine. He's cool. He's cool with us. So passionate in that healthcare committee meeting. Can't even with you guys. They cut off Amr cut off Ajamu again. And he kept forgetting to give people their title. He doesn't know how to run a fucking meeting. He doesn't even know how to run a Zoom call, right? He doesn't even know how to run a Zoom call. He forgets to mute people when they're done speaking. He forgets to lower their hands. He doesn't. He's not timely when he's trying to unmute people who are asking questions. He doesn't mute himself, and so he constantly pops up on the screen when other people are talking. Amara, learn how to fucking use Zoom. God damn it, dude. That was... And you even had one of your caucus members was even... You had so many Jimmy Dore sycophants on that call. You fucking had Lauren Steiner go on for a rant. You didn't interrupt Lauren either. Well, you asked her to wrap it up, right? Wrap it up. But that's not how you handled the Shamu. You asked a lot of people to wrap it up, but that's not how you handled a Shamu. Lauren Steiner fucking lives in North Carolina, and she's not even a Democrat. Ron Placone doesn't even get involved in electoral politics. He had one performative bullshit moment, and then you forgot to lower his hand. And so when you called on him first again, what? Because is he like your hired gun? You called on him first again. He had nothing to say because the guy doesn't have anything to say unless he prepares it in advance. He had nothing to say at that point. When he should have. He's a political commentator, right? He should have this stuff off the top of his head. Unless he's scripted. Unless he doesn't really know what he's fucking talking about. Unless he can only do it when he's prepared in advance. Because that seems to be what's going on with that entire fucking network. Okay, so how'd y'all do? Did you get your 20%? Did you do it? I'll be the first one to say congratulations, Amr, if you actually got that 20% of delegates to pull all the endorsements. I'll be the first one to say it when I know it, obviously. Like when it comes to my attention. I work fucking hard, so I might not hear about it right away. I'm a little done with your play pretend bullshit. When you're ready to actually get legislation passed, when you're ready to actually elect candidates that will be true representatives for their constituency. But you're not. You haven't done shit all year. You haven't done shit all year.